Right, good evening, everyone. My name's Mr. Etheridge. I'm head teacher here at King's Heath Boys. Many thanks for attending our virtual induction evening. Normally, this evening is more for the parents than the pupils, because the pupils, you'll be coming onto school site tomorrow to experience all the things that King's Heath has to offer. But as you know, in this really unusual year, induction day isn't quite what it normally is, and you've got a really detailed set of information on our school website where you can find out all about things under the induction year 6 tab. So make sure you look at all of that, and I'll be addressing both of you here tonight along with a number of other people. Now, before I get started, just want to say we're recording this meeting, just so you know, so that anyone who hasn't managed to attend can watch it later. We've disabled the speaking facility, so you can't speak to us, so that because we've got a lot to show you. But you can ask questions in the chat, and if you ask any questions in the chat, we'll make sure we answer them. And the chat function is in the bar at the very top. I think it's the second icon from the left on the top right hand side. You press that, then you can type in, and we'll get you those questions answered. So that's really good. And I think I should do some introductions before I get started, because I've got the whole senior leadership team from school here, and I'm probably going to embarrass some of them because we're on Teams. Some of them may well be in their pajamas or something already. I don't know. So first of all, so if you could show your faces, please. So I'm going to introduce Miss Parveen first of all. So Miss Parveen, I don't know whether you would show yourself. Miss Parveen is our deputy head, looks after all the pastoral side of school, and I'm sure you'll have a lot to do with Miss Parveen over the years. Thank you, Miss Parveen. Mr. McMillan, I know Mr. McMillan is around. Where's Mr. McMillan? Miss Parveen, if you could close yours so we can see Mr. McMillan in all his glory. Mr. McMillan there? Well, there you are. Lovely. Mr. McMillan is our curriculum deputy head teacher, and he makes sure he looks after the whole school experience, the curriculum that we have from the schools, the pupils will experience in their time here. And I'm sure you'll get to know Mr. McMillan well. Right, the third person I'd like to introduce you to, thank you, Mr. McMillan, is Miss Deans. Okay, Miss Deans is our Senko at school, and she and her team, will be heavily involved in supporting those children that need it. Good to see you, Miss Deans. There, you blurred the background. You must be in your pim jams there. Lovely. Okay. Next, it's Miss Gunn. Miss Gunn, please, is our assistant head teacher who is in charge of teaching and learning in the school, and make sure that all the lessons we've got are fantastic and learners know what they're doing. Thank you, Miss. We've got Miss Howard. Miss Howard, how are you? Miss Howard, Miss Howard, there you are. Miss Howard looks after the personal development of our pupils. We've got loads of stuff going on, wider learning, careers and everything. And Miss Howard is in charge of all that topic days, PSHE, really the exciting stuff. Miss Howard's got, and no wonder she's smiling. She's got a fabulous job. And last one, Miss Highland, please. Miss Highland. Miss Highland is our assistant head teacher who is in charge of raising achievement and making sure all of you achieve your very best in your time at King's Heath Boys, and hopefully all of those people you've seen are going to be people you see a lot. Thank you very much, Miss Highland. Now, I've got everyone here so that when you got questions, we can get the right answers to you, because I don't know everything. I'm only the head teacher. We'll get the absolute experts to answer the questions you've got. And actually, one of the main parts of tonight's proceedings is Miss Parveen, the pastoral deputy head, is going to go through quite a big PowerPoint with you about lots of operational things, because I'm sure you've got loads of questions about, school uniform, when does the day start and all that. And I know you've received all the information sent over to you, but it's good for us to go through it again and make sure that you all fully understand what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the top 10 things, right? The top 10 things that I think make King's Heath really special, and why this is the right choice for you for next year. And I'm really delighted that you've chosen to come to us, because it's a fabulous school. Okay, so number one, right, we are a small school. We are expanding, and I'll talk about that, but even when we're finished expanding, we are still a school for only 800 pupils. Okay, we are a small, caring secondary school where everyone knows each other, so that leads me on to our second point, is about the pastoral care at this school. Because we're small, because we all know one another, and because we've got an outstanding team of professionals to support and look after your child, okay, the pastoral care at this school is outstanding. And, you know, from the day you get it, from before the time you get here, evenings such as tonight, we will make sure you are fully supported in your journey through Kings Heath Boys. Because we're small, and because we care, and because we look after our money, we fund our staffing so we can have class sizes that average only 24. And there can't be another school in Birmingham that does that, apart from private schools. You know, so we have small class sizes on average. Yeah, we have some that are slightly bigger and some that are slightly smaller, depending on the need. But average class sizes are 24, which is, you know, absolutely fantastic for ensuring your child has the best possible experience, the best teaching and learning, and the best progress. So really, really important. Number 4, we have a philosophy that every child is ACE, ACE. And that stands for the fact that we want to recognise the achievements that your child makes. We want to build their character, because there is more to the school experience than just your academic achievements. It's about developing your character as well, and we want to celebrate those successes. And we want to do all this by offering your child as rich and diverse experience as possible. ACE, achievement, character, experience. The experiences your child will have when they come here as part of our wider learning and personal development offer ranges from all sorts of trips, Duke of Edinburgh, residentials, an enrichment curriculum, house competitions. I'll talk about the house system in a moment. We have international school links. We're part of the Erasmus project where pupils get to go abroad, and so on and so forth. There is absolutely loads of opportunities for you to experience things on that level. And day to day, we have a rich set of experiences within the classroom. We have a fantastic extracurricular program, sports teams, sports clubs, and so on and so forth. You will have a fabulous time here, all built around the ACE philosophy. Now, I mentioned the house competitions there. We are making an exciting move next year to a new house system. And actually, your key members of staff in school will be your form tutor, obviously, who will be also in the same house as yourself, but your head of house and your LDM. Okay, and your LDMs are learning development managers who work alongside the heads of house to make sure you're supported in everything you do. And our house system is going to be at the very heart of school, and we're going to have all sorts of competitions, our assemblies and everything will be built around that. And you will find out what house you're in, and as Miss Parveen talks about school uniform and stuff, that will be useful for when you go and get that as well. But we're hoping that when you leave Kings Heath Boys in 5 years' time, and 20 years' time, when you look back, all you talk about is all the wonderful things went on, not only in lessons, but in the house system as well. So we're really excited about that and all that brings. The 6th thing that I think is a really important reason why I've chosen is our positive discipline for learning policy and the Kings Heath values. Okay, now Miss Parveen will talk about that in some detail, but that is at the very heart of what we do. We want all the pupils to be rewarded for when they meet our expectations in lessons, and we have a planner system, Miss Parveen will show you, that means you will know how your son has performed every day, and a young man, you will be rewarded for everything you do right. And we built this around our Kings Heath values. Okay, and these are built on the sports partnership values that I'm sure, the school games values, sorry, that I'm sure some of you have encountered as part of our sports partnership with local primary schools. The 7th thing that I think is a really important reason why you've chosen us is the new build. I am sat here in front of the image of our new building that is going to be completed for September. You may well have seen, if you've gone walking your dog on Billesley Common, you can see this from miles around. We have an £8 million new build development that contains food rooms, music rooms, science labs, ICT suites, and this is in addition to all our existing facilities that I'll talk about next. So this new build really does transport Kings Heath Boys fully into the 21st century as having the best school building in this area. Now, our facilities anyway, because number 8 is our facilities. We are an 8-acre site with 2 football pitches, 2 AstroTurfs, a sports hall, a fitness suite, specialist rooms coming out your eyeballs, just like, you know, we've just had 7 more of them in this new build. We have facilities that are unrivaled anywhere in the city, I'd say, let alone this area. Our facilities are absolutely top class. So our new build and our facilities are number 7 and 8. And finally, we're getting there. Number 9 is our staff. We have such a committed, hardworking, caring staff who will look after you and look after your child, you know, as their absolute prime focus for the next 5 years, supporting them pastorally and developing them academically, building character and ensuring they have fantastic experiences. And the dedication of our staff pays dividends with the outstanding young men that leave us at the end of year 11. And finally, it's those young men. Number 10, the pupils that we produce at this school. We hope to really engage with parents even more over the next few years. It's been so tough these last a year and a half, sorry, with COVID. But, you know, parental engagement is really important. And the more we can get you into school, you know, the better. If you see the pupils that we produce in this school, you will understand what I'm saying. The pupils here are like pupils I've encountered at no other school. They're warm, they're generous, they're articulate, they're well behaved, they're aspirational, they want to do their best, and they recognise what the school has done for them. So for me, those are the 10 things that say to me, you have made the right choice. And, you know, I hope you'll agree that that is a pretty strong argument for that. So you may well have questions. I'm going to have a quick check in the chat, but I'm sure there's no questions yet, which is good. Maybe don't put any yet, because Miss Parveen's going to come in now with all the operational stuff. You can bang your questions in the chat if you need to, and away you go. Over to you, Miss Parveen.
Thank you, Mr. Etheridge. So good evening, everybody. So I'm going to go through a big presentation just about all the operational things, and then you can ask me any questions that you may have. So I'm just going to share my screen with everybody so you can see what I'm going to go through. So hopefully all of you should be able to see my screen now. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to go through the structure of the day. So the school day at King's Boys starts at 8:30. That means the registration starts at 8:30. So we expect the students to be on site no later than 8:25, ready to go to registration for 8:30. School site is open from 7:45. So if anybody does need to drop anybody off early, you can start from 7:45. And this is the day structure. So we have 5 lessons, we have a break and a lunch. And at the end of the day, we have a form registration, which is for 10 minutes. And the key thing here is if the child has met all the expectations, like majority of the students do, then they get to leave at 2:50. However, if there were any issues or the child didn't meet all the expectations, then there's a 15-minute resolution time whereby they may sit with their form tutor and discuss what's gone on, or resolve the issue with the teacher who may have had issues. So the next day is a fresh start and they can move forward. Which is quite key when you're picking up your child at the end of the day, to understand the fact that it could finish at 2:50 or 3:05. So the other thing is about enrichment, which I'll talk about a bit later on, but we do have an enrichment slot at the end of the day, which is normally for 30 minutes. Some of the activities may run a bit longer, but you'll be notified of those activities. So that is a school day. Obviously, like primary schools, you know, we aim for everybody to be in school, because when you're in school, you're socializing, you are learning. So we aim for 100% attendance for everybody. But however, we understand sometimes there's, you know, mitigating circumstances where people can't come into school because they're sick. So it's really, really important to notify school from a safeguarding perspective if you're not going to come in school. So that's our phone number. That's also in the parent guide, and you select option 2. Also, you know, if your son is going to be late, okay, then you need to also let school know, so we could cater for that. Letting us know is really, really important, because if you don't let us know, we don't know where the child is, and then you will get a phone call from school finding out where they are. So making sure that you attend, but if you're not attending for whatever reason, you need to notify the school. Moving on quickly onto uniform, and this is the question and the topic that we get most questioned on. So this is our Kingsley Boys uniform. You may have seen some of our boys. They look quite smart. We have a blazer with our logo, and black trousers, a white shirt, And you may have noticed this tie is we've got 5 different types of ties here. We're changing this tie to the ones at the bottom, and they represent the house colours. And I will talk about the different house colours and how you could get your house tie. So this is the school uniform. The blazer must have our logo. There's also a jumper that goes with this uniform if you wanted to buy a jumper. It's not compulsory, but what you see in these pictures is compulsory. So if you, I'll go forward. So if you look at the ties, your son will be allocated a house, and we've got 4 houses. We've got Chamberlain, Tolkien, Bolton, and Cadbury. And the tie will represent the colour of the house. So if you're in Tolkien house, you'll have a yellow tie. And you might be thinking, well, actually, I don't know what house my son is in. And not to worry, if you go to our uniform provider, which is Mansouri, they've got a list of all the students and what house they belong to. So if you applied in time, so if you applied early enough, not too late, then they have a list of all the students and what house they go to, so they'll give you the right uniform. If you're not sure, you can call the school up, but you'll also get an email letting you know what house your son is in. And do not worry if you feel like you've got the wrong house, we could swap it over in September. But it's really important that you do actually get the tie that you for your house, but not to worry if you think you've got the wrong one. Just a few details about uniform. You know, it has to be tailored trousers, not jeans. It has to be shoes, not trainers. And I know some schools allow the Nike Air Force trainers, but we don't. They have to have a sole. Okay, so some smart shoes. The students have to have a blazer. I'll talk a little bit more about the PE kit because that's also changed. And we asked for an A4 size bag, not one of these little bags where you can't fit your books in, so A4 size. So if I just show you the PE kit. So this is our brand new PE kit. This is a first year group that's going to have this PE kit. Previously it was white. And your PE kit again represents your house. So you've got the t-shirt, okay, with the different colour panels for each house. So you've got Cadbury, Chamberlain, Bolton, and Tolkien. And then you've got an overlay top, okay. So you could buy both, wear this underneath, and you could wear that on top. And then you've got the branded PE trousers, and you could also buy a PE bag, which has got our logo on it if you wanted to. So this is the PE kit. We do expect students to buy the PE kit. Now, in terms of, I know there's been lots of things about the cost of uniform, and we really appreciate that, you know, it can get really costly, especially if you've got a few students or a few children. So we have really considered that. So you will notice when you do go to the shop, our uniform is not branded in terms of designer wear or anything. It's not Nike or anything. It is just plain. So the prices are quite low. Mansouri is our uniform provider. There's a shop on Kingsley High Street. They're our main uniform provider. They're currently offering a 15% discount for anybody that buys a uniform from them for Kingsley Boys. It's their 25th anniversary, and they're offering a discount for everybody. They have also launched a bag. So this is a A4 size bag that you might want to use. You know, it's not compulsory, but you might want to buy one of these. That's the size that we're looking for. So all the uniform can be accessible from Mansouri, from Kingsley. So that's just the uniform there. So moving on next to the equipment. So, you know, moving from primary to secondary school, you know, it's about getting organized and making sure you have the necessary equipment. So there, again, you've got the bag, but you've got the ruler. We have something called a green pen marking. So we expect all students to carry a green pen. Obviously, your black and blue pens for writing, your pencils, highlighters to highlight keywords and lessons, a pencil case to keep everything in, and obviously your sharpener and ruler. We also encourage students to buy scientific calculators because that's what they use in maths, and that would obviously help them become familiarized with using a scientific calculator. So we do encourage them to buy that from year 7. So that's your equipment. You could buy that from Amazon. You could buy that from any local stationery shop. I mean, when the supermarkets, they do good deals on the stationery, but we do insist the students have all the stationery, and there's regular checks on whether they've got the stationery or not. So throughout the day, your son may not want to carry his bag or his coat. So we do have lockers, but we do not have enough for one per student. So it is first come, first served basis, and we do prioritize year 7. So you pay £5 for the locker, which is non-refundable, and that will last you for 5 years. So if you come in year 7, you get a locker, you get to keep that locker. The location may change for the whole 5 years. So you might want to buy a locker and you get a key, and you're responsible to look for looking after the key and using the locker appropriately. So you can get yourself a locker in September. So normally what happens, come September, probably in the second week, we will offer you the locker if you bring in the £5. I'll talk about how to pay in a minute. Okay, so one of the, like Mr. Etheridge mentioned, one of the key things about our school is positive discipline for learning. I really want to recognise all those students that do really well throughout the day. So we have an effective planner system, and each child gets a planner, and they take this planner home so parents can see how they're doing. And for every single lesson, okay, including form time, and that's not on this slide, they get a stamp. And if they get a green stamp, that means they've met all the expectations. Okay, so they've done exactly what they're supposed to be doing. If they get a purple stamp, that means they've gone above and beyond. Okay, the purple stamps have a lot of currency in our school because they're linked to rewards, they're linked to rewards trips, they're linked to things like pizza parties, and it's that recognition of those students that go above and beyond, more than just meeting the expectations. And the purple stamps count towards greater house points, so they carry a lot of currency. However, if your son didn't meet the expectation, then they might get a red stamp. Okay, that means something went wrong, and if it's got a red and a H next to it, it means that the homework wasn't done. Okay, if it's got a red and an A next to it, that means maybe there was poor attitude. If it's an E, it means that there was a lack of equipment, and if it is late, it might be late to lessons. Okay, from September, and this is for really extreme cases, and we don't have this very often, if somebody's not meeting the expectations in class and they've been removed, to give them a second chance somewhere else, they will get an R stamp, and I'll talk about that a bit later on too. So this is a plan. It's a really effective way of teachers to see how a child is doing. For parents, and we encourage parents to look at this planner every single day, recognize the boys for doing well, you know, with all the purples and the greens, and have the conversations for anybody who hasn't met the expectations and how they could be better the next day. Weekly, the parents and the pupil and the form tutor need to sign. On the new planners page, you'll also have like a weekly attendance, so you know what your child's attendance is for that week. Okay. In terms of mobile phones, we get this asked quite a lot. We do allow students to bring their phone onto site because we understand some of them are traveling across the city to get to school, and for safety reasons, they want to stay in touch with parents. However, when they're on site, when they walk through the gates, they have to be switched off and put away. Okay, they have to put them away in their bags, and they shouldn't be seen or heard, because if they are seen or heard, they'll be taken off the student. Normally, they'll be given back at the end of the day, but if it's a persistent issue, then the parents will be called in. Okay, again, make sure if you are bringing a phone in, it's insured, because it's your responsibility to look after the phone, and make sure that it's put away in your bag, and that fact that it's insured and you don't get it out. Okay, moving on. So the next thing I want to talk about is dinner, and you know, often the boys are quite worried about this because it's very different from primary school. So we have a brand new canteen, and we have a range of different menus, and I've sent some of these out in the parent guide. And the students could buy food at break time or at lunchtime. Okay, and we've got 2 or 3 serving areas, and then they pay at the tills, and we pay using a dinner card. So when they come to us in September, they will get a dinner card. Okay, and that dinner card will link to that child only, and will be linked to their parent pay account, which I will look at show you in a minute. And what happens is they go to the till and they use the dinner card to pay for the food. Now, if they're entitled to free school meals, that will automatically go on the dinner card at 10 o'clock every single day. But they must use that money on the same day. You can't accumulate your free school meals, because at the end of the day, if you haven't used it, it disappears. Okay, so in terms of putting money onto the card, we are a cashless school, so that means you don't bring money onto site, but you go onto parent pay. So everybody will get a link to setting up for parent pay. Is a unique code, and you link that to your bank card, and you could top up. And through this process, you could see what your child's spending their money on. You could set limits. So if you say, well, you're not spending more than £5 a day or £3 a day, you could do that. Okay, you can see what they're eating and so on. Other things that you could use Parent Pay for is to pay for trips and revision guides. If there's anything going on at school that you have to pay for, that will go on Parent Pay, and you go on and pay. It's just a safer way, so students are not carrying any money to school, and the parents keep an eye on what they are spending it on. Okay, I've just realised there's a typo. It's not £150 or 0.15 pence. It's actually £1.50. So to replace the card, if you lose your card, it is £1.50 to replace the card, and that's really, really important because we can't serve the child any food without the card. Okay, so you will get a letter with a unique code, and you sign up for Parent Pay. We have got somebody in school if you're having any issues that will resolve them for you in terms of Parent Pay. Okay. In terms of our pastoral team, it's quite big, and I'm quite proud of it. We have in each house, we have 4 houses. In each house, we've got 1 teaching head of house and 1 non-teaching head of house. Okay, which is really unique because a lot of schools only have 1 person, and what they see, they oversee the house. You know, they look at the academic progress, they look at the pastoral needs, have the regular contact with families, and they're your first point of contact in addition to the form tutor. So also in the pastoral structure, your child would have a form tutor, which are quite small forms, up to about 20 students. And every morning you get to spend 20 minutes doing lots of different activities. But at the end of the day, you'll see them for 10 minutes too. So this is the person that you will see every single day. And again, for parents, this is your first port of call. Okay, if you've got any concerns, if you've got any queries, you could get in touch with them. Okay, and then on Friday, they spend another 45 minutes with the form tutor doing PSHE program in form time. Okay, in addition to that, we have a very good learning support department, and that's led by our Senko, Mrs. Deans. Okay, and what happens is this is where the students who may require additional support, who are assessed, identified, and then their needs are met through the learning support department. And now we also have an assistant Senko, which is Mrs. Holmes. Okay, we've got a number of TAs, we've got EAL coordinator, and we tap into lots of external SEND specialists, such as like speech and speaking therapy, and also things like school counsellor. We tap into. We work with the autism team. So there's a huge amounts of external providers that we work with. And all this is based in a special area in the school called the Hub. Okay, it's a really nice, friendly space. There's, you know, if your child's quite reluctant to go out, there's also space for them to spend some time in there during school lunch and break time. So if you have any concerns, you know, in terms of identifying issues or anything you want to share about learning difficulties, Miss Deans is the person that you get in touch. And at the moment, she's working really hard trying to get all the information from primary schools about all the students that have applied to come to us, so we know what their needs are, so we could cater for their needs come September. So in terms of the entrance, okay, so normally you could use both, students could use both entrances to come to school, but parents could only come to the Chamberlain Road entrance. Okay, so if you want to come to Chamberlain Road, this is for any meetings and things, you use the main entrance on Chamberlain Road, and I'll talk about how to book a meeting and come into school. Okay, so you know, ideally, you need to understand and appreciate that teachers are often quite busy. So if you just turned up wanting to meet with somebody, it may not happen straight away. You might be waiting for a long time. So the best option is go to our website, and there's a contact page, and you can book a meeting. And then within 48 hours, somebody will contact you to arrange that meeting, and then you come to the Chamberlain Road entrance for that meeting. However, if there's an emergency, do call the school, and we could see what we could do in terms of getting you in sooner. Okay, so it's really important you notify the school of coming in before you come in, and that's not just in COVID times, that's generally, so you're not wasting any time waiting around, because often people are teaching or they're busy, they may not be able to see you. So booking a meeting, and it could be just about general chit chat about your son, how he's getting on. It could be about his progress, it could be about his report, it could be about friendship issues. Well, you know, it could be a number of things, and we do encourage parents to come to school and communicate with us, but do book a meeting. So if you look here, it's just a map, okay, and it's got a few bus routes on there that you may take to come to us, okay. So we've got the 2 different entrances on here, okay. And one of the key things, is a bit of a plea really, is about dropping your son off to school and picking them up. We have a few issues with, you know, parking on the street, and a few upset neighbours where you're blocking in their drives and so on. So there is a no parking or waiting area outside both of the entrances. So you need to park and wait a bit further down. And that's obviously to keep this area clear for health and safety, so the students could cross the road, you know, without any obstacles. So please be mindful where you park, you know, away from the school site, and be mindful of the neighbours and their drives, and park in appropriate places. Okay, so if you look here, you know, these pictures were taken last year where everything was just blocked, and it causes a huge amount of issues with traffic jams and so on. Okay, so in terms of keeping in touch, we send you regular emails, which I'm sure you've picked up. But our website is brand new, it's updated on a regular basis. There's a section on there just for year 7. All the information that I've sent out is all on that page. So please go and have a look at that. Obviously, emails, we send you text messages as a last resort reminders, but we sent you a link to the parent guide. Everything that I've shared today and more is in the parent guide. So I do suggest that you sit with your son and go through the parent guide. It's got lots of useful information in preparation for next year. Okay. Also on the website, you know, you've got a virtual tour of the school, so you can see the school site, because I know we didn't have student induction because it's been cancelled. But you could go on our website and you've got messages from staff, and you've got lots of pictures about the different areas of school and what it may look like when you come to us in September. You've also had a link to our transition website. So this is designed just for year 6, and you've got access to it. It's on our VLE, which is it's called the Frog. Okay, so it's our virtual learning environment. On there, you've got key members of staff, you've got the school day, you've got things about uniform, you've got how to travel to school, you know, some keywords, suggested reading books for this year, all the information about e-safety, and then you've got some competitions and learning games and so on. So I do suggest, you know, over the summer, you go onto the Frog website and have a go at some of the activities and take part in the competitions. There'll be winners that will be announced in September, but it will allow you to familiarise yourself with the school and our ethos. Okay. One of the things that I sent out, it was in the pack, was about school trips. You know, like Mr. Etheridge said, that where we promote this ACE philosophy, and part of that is the experiences and the enrichment. And we really like to take the students out on lots of different experiences. And to allow that to happen, we have a blanket consent form. That means any trip that is low risk and is within the school day, we don't have to get consent of everybody all the time. You'll be notified and you can opt out. You can say, well, I don't want my son to take part in this. Okay, but we won't be asking you to return reply slips, because it takes a long time to do that. So you'll be notified of the trip, when it is, where we're going, and then if you wanted to opt out, you can. Okay, but if it is a low risk trip, we could take them out without getting reply slips. Okay, so just a key reminders now for summer school. So thank you for all those people who came to the May half terms provision. We had a huge uptake. There's another 2 days of summer school provision for year 6, and it's the 22nd and 23rd of July. And there's lots of exciting projects and classes going on, including the Animal Man is coming, and we're showcasing lots of different animals on site, and you get to hold some of them. So I'm quite excited about that. So if you are interested, and do recommend, you know, especially the fact that we didn't have induction day, that even if you didn't come to May half term, you come to at least one of those days, get to know the sites, get to know the staff, see other students, so it's not too daunting for September. I have sent an email with the link to the form to sign up, but if you wanted to make a note of this, if you go to this site, you could sign up. Okay, you could sign up for both days, which would be great, or you could just sign up for one of the days, and hopefully you'll get to interact with other students and have a little bit of fun. So do come to our summer school. It's for 2 days at the moment, on the 22nd and 23rd. It's led by our staff, where we've got some external providers coming in to do some exciting and fun things with the students. Okay, just about September. So one of the things that the government announced today is before the students come back to school, we have to do lateral flow tests, okay, to make sure that everybody's safe coming back after summer holidays and there's nobody with COVID, so we could carry on as normal. Okay, so our plan is, that should be the 3rd of September, not August. Please I do apologise about that. So the 3rd of September, I'll change that. So yeah, so the 3rd of September, we've got testing on site. On that day, you would also get to sign up for parent pay and get tested. So in the next couple of days, you will get a link asking for consent. Okay, it's just a lateral flow test that the students have been doing at home, where you just do them on site by specially trained staff. Okay, the children normally do themselves, and we just record the results, and that's just keeping everybody safe. So please do click on that link and give consent, and you may get a phone call, a follow-up phone call, just to confirm the consent. But then the first day of school, we Wednesday, the 8th of September at 8:25. Okay, all this information has been sent out in a letter, and on that day, you arrive to school no later than 8:25, ready to go into classes for 8:30. And on that day, you'll get to meet your head of house, you'll get to meet your form tutor, you'll do a little bit of admin activities to get yourself familiarised with the school and our systems and policies, and hopefully you'll attend some fun and exciting lessons. Okay, just a few last reminders before I finish. Make sure if there's any outstanding paperwork, you return that. This year we did a digital link, so we can fill all the forms online. We take that information and put it into our system, so we have all the information about your child before they come to us. Go onto our website for regular updates, check your emails and texts, okay? Go onto the transition site and stay in touch. And if there's anything that we could do, please get in touch, and we're more than happy to help you. So that's the end of my section. So I'm just going to stop sharing and hand over back to you, Mr. Etheridge, for any questions.
Thanks very much, Ms. Praveen. Yeah, I've got a few questions from the chat that I'm going to try and put straight, and a couple of things that I might add to that Ms. Praveen said. Right. Firstly, Dewa, thank you very much for your message in the chat. Excited to come to school. Superb. I'm excited that you're coming. That's great. Just want to put something clear. A couple of people asking whether there was face-to-face induction tomorrow. No, I said earlier, we're not allowed to do that, unfortunately. So you're not in school tomorrow. You're remaining in your primary schools, and that's for the same for all primary children in Birmingham. But you can access lots of information on our website, at home, whenever. So that's on there already. And I think, is that the transition part of the website, I think. So that's the bit that you would access there. Someone's asked whether siblings would be in the same house. Absolutely, that's really important. And one of the things we can do there as well, especially if you've got older siblings in school already, is those LDMs, those staff that you know best in school already, they'll have them relationships with their families. So that's how the house system can work really well. So siblings will be in the same house. Someone's asked about Key Stage 4 outcomes and how do we ensure they are the best possible? Well, you know, we've got a fantastic curriculum, okay, that makes sure our pupils experience the best possible and is suited for learners at all ages and stages, where we make sure our learners experience that breadth of content, develop that depth of knowledge and more with our ACE philosophy. So that's one real big factor. Our teaching and learning, making sure we've got teachers at the highest quality with the highest subject knowledge and the best possible pedagogy, matched with learners who know what they're doing, know how to learn and give us the very best, means that they learn as well as they can. And all this is built around our King's Heath values and our outstanding learning qualities that will help, you know, make sure that everyone achieves their very best. So Key Stage 4 outcomes are, you know, certainly looking good. Someone said about red stamps all week. There's no way you'll get red stamps all week, so don't worry about that. But as Miss Parveen said, you know, what we will do is if we feel your child needs support in any way, our wonderful inclusion team and support will be involved to make sure that whatever we do is not all about sanctions, it's about supporting your child as well, to make sure that any small blip can be back on the straight and narrow. We've had contact about halal food. Absolutely, all our canteen is certified. How do you contact form tutors? There'll be a number of ways you can contact form tutors, and that will be clear in the communications we've sent home. We have an inquiries email at school, but form tutors will have methods for communicating to them via email, and they'll be in contact with you regularly anyway, I hope. So we'll make sure all those lines of communication are clear, because that's really important. This is one of the most important partnerships you can imagine, is that homeschool partnership. Do we have a hall like primary? We've got an absolutely superb hall with all ranked seating and everything. It is absolutely superb. But we have loads of other spaces like the sports hall, the canteens, a massive area, and the central area of school where we meet before assemblies. We've got loads of really good spaces for doing things. Miss Parveen mentioned about the drop-in by school. Look, we're part of a Mode Shift Stars initiative that I'm sure you have been at primary school as well. Really, we need to encourage you to drop your child 1 kilometre away from school. Now, I know that might be a little bit far, but that's what Birmingham City Council are recommending. But there is certainly no need to get within 500 yards of school. Drop your child on Wheelers Lane or the Alcester Road and let them walk the last bit to school. That will keep everybody safe. King's Heath is a safe neighbourhood, okay? We've always got staff out on duty. Please, 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 if you have to drop your child at school, drop them a decent distance away. It really is important that we try and implement that safer Mode Shift Stars campaign. How many in a class? Someone said. I've already said that. It's an average of 24, which is really small, isn't it, really, compared to other schools. We might have classes with 28, 29 in, but we'll have some with 16 in, depending on the need in that class. So really small class sizes compared to other schools. I want to just build on something Ms. Parveen said about school trips, and that's brilliant, the blanket consent and everything. One other thing I want to say, and this is to you parents, because I know the kids are going to want to come on it. Okay, we're hoping to have a residential in year 7. It might be a residential on site, it might be at a project, whatever. I think it's really important that you're prepared to let your child attend overnight residential trips, because they really help build your child's character, their experiences they can talk about and they can reflect upon. So, we will look after them. We do a good job. We keep everyone safe, and it's a brilliant experience. But I want you to know that if you're signing up here, we're signing up to the full ACE experience. And parents, I really want you to support me there, because we want to give your child the best possible time here. And someone said about testing at home instead of in school, being ready for the 8th. I'm afraid no, I haven't read all the detail today, but it sounds like we've got to test you on that Friday the 3rd. Before you actually come into school. So yes, you're going to come into school, get a test, we'll sort out your parent pay, then you'll go home, because you're starting on Wednesday the 8th of September. But whatever we do has got to be done before you start school. Okay, so yes, you need to be testing for your primary school twice weekly or whatever you're doing at the moment. At home, we've got to do that stuff in school. Now, there's been a few things since I last spoke about, where are we? Yeah, so I've got to the tests. Have the chat houses been chosen? Yes, they have. Miss Parveen, do you want to just mention how the houses are being communicated? You might have done that already. Apologies.
Yeah, so the houses have all been chosen. And obviously, like someone asked earlier on, are the siblings going to be in the same house? So, yes, they are. Are friends from primary school going to be in the same house? We actually don't know who your friends are at the moment. So we've just done a generic house grouping, but we're going to review that in the first term. So what would happen if for the uniform, you could go to the uniform provider, they'll know what houses you are, but you will get an email from us before September telling you what house you belong to. Okay?
Yeah, and don't worry too much about not being in the same house as your friends from primary school. You'll see them loads in school. Don't worry about that. And also, when I was in my house at secondary school, I loved it. If I beat my mate in the football competition, I'd love the bragging rights for that for the next week or so. So don't worry, you'll see your friends. You'll be involved in competitions with them. It's a really good thing. Vouchers for school uniform. I'm not sure what that question means, Miss Parveen. Do you?
Yeah, so currently Birmingham City Council do not provide any vouchers for people that live in Birmingham. So if you need, and nor do the school, so if you do need any help with the vouchers, you need to contact Birmingham City Council and see if they could offer you anything. If you get benefits, they may be able to offer you. The only scheme that is running is if you live in Yardley. So there is a charity set up in Yardley. and they give out uniform vouchers for anybody that comes to King's Heath Boys. And it's a very tight little area that he targets. So anybody on our system that lives in that postcode, we've already emailed out the information that they need. You apply to them, not the school. So unfortunately, the school do not provide any vouchers. You need to contact Birmingham City Council and see if they've got anything available.
Right, is there a bike parking section for students? Yes, there most certainly is. We've just had a brand new bike shelter, pardon me, delivered to go along with our other ones. So we've got absolutely loads of bike parking and loads of the boys cycling to school. You know, the bike parking area as is in a very public space with cameras all over it, so the bikes are nice and safe. So yeah, I really encourage you to use your bike. Absolutely anything that means we're not driving anywhere near school is got to be a good thing. Walking, cycling, getting the bus, it's all a good thing if you possibly can. Hopefully the question about help with uniform, Miss Parveen has just asked. Lovely. Yeah, we're not having Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff and Slytherin as our house names. As you know, it's Bolton, Cadbury, Chamberlain and Tolkien. And actually on the first day, here's a bit of homework for you. We don't, you know, we like homework, we want it to be fun. Why have we named the houses that? That is your little bit of homework before you arrive on the first day. Why have we named our houses Bolton, Cadbury, Chamberlain and Tolkien instead of just copying Harry Potter? Right, I think that is all of the questions. Do we have homework on the first day? I hope not. I hope not. Was that Miss Parveen nodding then? I'll have to have a word with the teachers. Hopefully not. If you get anything on the first day, it'll be something fun. All right. So I'm gonna just turn off the questions now, okay? Because I wanna end this well, okay? So I hope you are looking forward to coming to King's Heath Boys, everybody. You know, I hope you've got all the information you need to get ready for the start, and obviously all the information about testing and times and everything. We will be making sure those communication lines, you know, are clear. So if you change your email addresses, if you change your phone numbers, you need to let us know. Change addresses, you need to let us know so that we can make sure we get the information to you as we can. So we're all ready for that and we're all excited. Parents, I hope you've heard what you needed to hear to reassure you that you've made the correct decision. We really are a special school. So all that is left to say really is my prediction, okay, for the football really. I suppose we've got the business out of the way and now we need to get on to the serious stuff. So my prediction tonight, Italy-Spain. Italy-Spain I'm predicting is going to be 2-1 to Italy. Okay, 2-1 to Italy. I don't know what you think about that, but I think they've got a bit more of a team spirit than Spain. And then the England game tomorrow, I am predicting another clean sheet. I'm predicting another clean sheet and 2-0 England, which is going to be an England-Italy final, which I am not even going to attempt to predict because that's going to be far too complicated. So I hope you're watching it. I hope your favourite player is Jack Grealish, like mine, because he plays for Aston Villa and they are the greatest football team in the world. So I hope you're going to enjoy the football. I hope you're looking forward to coming to King's Heath, and we're looking forward very much to seeing you. And if you've got any questions, just, you know, contact school and we'll answer them. See you later, everyone. Thanks very much. Football's coming home, absolutely.